Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Absolutely fantastic to see you, my friend.
Jonty, how long has it been, buddy?
Actually think we've gone a good couple. Obviously, we're in touch, but it's been a good couple years since we've done a
What do you mean,
video
obviously
together.
we're in touch?
Ben, what I really wanted to talk to you about today
Yeah.
is, I took over this new business almost 3 years ago now, and I went from this lifestyle where I spent all my time doing all my sort of marketing work, sitting in my office chair, to one where I was on my feet all day long, moving heavy boxes constantly. I used to run a mile like 2 or 3 times a week.
You don't do that anymore?
There was just no way that I could still do that and also do all of the physical labor required to manufacture our sheepskin slippers. So in my mind, I see this very simple chart, and on one side of the chart is a person that has absolutely no physical activity. And the two lines are, one is fatigue and the other one is exercise.
Okay.
So if you are doing absolutely zip physical activity, you finally go and just do like a walk around the block. That's this wonderful, beneficial, good exercise that your body gets. If you are in a situation where you are just constantly on your feet, constantly in some kind of doing some kind of physical labor, you end up with this the fatigue part. It's not really exercise that benefits you. It ends up being just fatigue. You're just tired, and you never get enough rest. And one of the things that I've been seeing with this new lifestyle, which I'm honestly grateful for, thank you, God, for the opportunities that I have in my life,
Yeah,
right?
you're not complaining. There's no complaining here.
It's I'm not in my office chair all day, Ben. How's that? I mean,
I
that's
love it.
great,
I love
right?
it. Yeah.
But I'm finding myself waking up in the mornings with cramps in my legs,
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
which I have
But
to think is related.
yeah, cramps. Well, the main cause of cramps is electrolyte imbalance. That's the
Hmm.
main cause. And nutrition in general is going to be a problem, but the first thing you want to think about is electrolytes. And that's really Dr. Wallach's whole story is about electrolytes. I don't think he calls them electrolytes, he calls them plant-derived minerals, but really electrolytes are these elements. They're not really minerals, they're elements off the periodic table that dissolve in water. The dissolution of these charged elements in water creates interesting changes in how water molecules interact with each other. Water is really a very interesting substance because when we think of water, we just think of something generic. There's really all kinds of things happening in water, and there's different forms of water. And the
Hmm.
mixture of these ions in water creates a really interesting electromagnetic milieu, not only in a glass that you're drinking, perhaps, but also in your
Right.
body. And without electrolytes, without the appropriate amount of electrolytes, water flow changes in and out of cells, and that can create changes in the way muscles respond. And that's really what's behind cramping. So the first thing you want to think about is electrolyte supplementation. So what I'd recommend anybody who's dealing with this kind of night cramping situation
Hmm.
is before you go to bed, beyond tangy tangerine.
Huh.
Uh, you don't have to do a lot of it, and you don't want to do a lot of it actually, because you don't want to end up going to the bathroom in
Yeah.
the middle of the night too many times. But a little bit of Beyond Tangy Tangerine before you go to bed is a great strategy for restoring electrolyte balance. Magnesium,
Right.
potassium, calcium, sodium chloride, especially. Um,
Yeah.
and in addition, you want to make sure that you have enough hydration, not necessarily right before you go to bed,
Right.
but through the evening until bed. If you do it right before you go to bed, you're going to end up going to the bathroom a bunch of times, and that's not good.
Yeah.
So cramps are going to be more likely when there's electrolyte imbalance, when there's low electrolyte levels, and when hydration is low, particularly when, well, I should say this, when hydration is low. But if you have hydration high without electrolytes, that can be a problem too. So it's a combination of
Because it's
hydration with,
draining you of the
yes, with
minerals.
hydration with
Yeah.
electrolytes is what you're looking for. B vitamins are also really important. And one of the cool things about Beyond Tangy Tangerine is all of these nutrients, which are water soluble, B complex and electrolytes. That's what Beyond Tangy Tangerine is all about. It's
Yeah.
about electrolytes and water soluble nutrients. So B1, B vitamins, particularly B1, which is thiamine, B2, which is riboflavin, and B6, particularly
Hmm.
those three. Coenzyme Q10 can be helpful. The mitochondria, you've probably heard of the term mitochondria,
Sure.
sluggish mitochondria, muscle tissue. can make cramping worse. Coenzyme Q10 is very
Mm.
important to the mitochondria. Ionic minerals in general, not just electrolytes, but ionic minerals in general, plant-derived minerals in general can be helpful. Stretching before you go to bed, probably know if you're a runner, stretching your calves,
Yeah.
stretching your hamstrings before you go to bed, taking magnesium or Epsom salt baths before you go to bed can have a relaxing effect. Definitely avoid caffeine or alcohol as best as you
Mm.
can.
Right.
Most people are going to do caffeine before bed, but alcohol can deplete electrolytes. And so that's another thing you might want to do. Also, if you don't have Beyond Tangy Tangerine, you can do lemon juice, which has electrolytes in it. You can put lemon juice, lemon water. There's also strategies for improving the elasticity of your connective tissue. That
Mm.
might be something that you want to think about. Ultimate EFAs, collagen peptides, amino acids, particularly amino acids that help you build collagen, like glycine. And then you know what else? Vitamin D and vitamin K2 are both
Uh-huh.
important for regulating calcium and magnesium balance. And
Mm.
calcium and magnesium play an especially important role in muscle contraction. There's a product that Longevity has. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's beets. It's a beet product. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Um,
The nitrates in beet can be helpful for vasodilation. And
huh.
vasodilation can improve blood supply to legs. So if you do that before you go to bed, I forgot the name of the product, the beet product.
It's on the tip of my tongue as well. I
It's
know
not
what you're
cardio
talking
beats, is
about.
it? Is it called
It's like
cardio
a
beats?
powdered drink, right?
Yeah, yeah. Is it cardio beats? I'm not sure if it's I
Yeah,
forgot.
that might be that. I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. The beet
Figure it out.
product for nitrous oxide for a nitric oxide
Hmm.
for vasodilation. That's another strategy that you can use. And then also, I don't know if you know about this, but there's a new Fucoid Z that has collagen in it, and that might be helpful as well. And then
Yeah.
you can also do electrolyte foods before you go to bed, or potassium, especially containing these bananas,
Everyone
avocados.
always says bananas, and I was kind of curious about that because I like bananas, but
You're
I'm
not a
just
banana
not.
guy?
I'm not. I like them, but the thing is, I'm first and foremost a father, and when I see a nice fruit on the table, I always leave it for someone else, which is
Uh-huh.
I sacrifice myself in that way. I don't know.
Well,
I can't
have
help it.
half. You don't need a whole banana. Split
Well,
half, half, or a
but
piece of a banana.
there's a lot of foods that have
Potassium,
potassium.
absolutely. Orange, yeah, potassium's found in a lot of fruits and vegetables.
Orange
Avocados,
juice, you
avocado.
know?
You know what else is good? A good source of electrolytes and potassium,
Mhm.
especially, is coconut water, and it's also
Oh yeah,
delicious.
yeah.
I love coconut water. And then green leafy vegetables. Those are good sources of magnesium, also as well as potassium. So there's all these little strategies you can employ, but
Mhm.
basically the most important nutrients are going to be your B vitamins and your electrolytes and your plant-derived minerals in general, in addition to the foods that contain the B vitamins and the electrolytes. And then stretching.
Yeah, the stretching is no joke because I'm also, as you know, somebody who's had I have like a once a year back injury that
It
it,
always happens.
ever since I was 21 I think
Ah,
when I first really injured it, and um it's predictable when I don't exercise, when I'm not taking my supplements, I injure my back. But again, as I say, I'm a very active person, so I'm constantly moving heavy boxes around. It's no shocker, you know. But the stretches for what's it? It's called like the PSOAS or the
oh, your
psoas.
psoas muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, your psoas muscle. It's somewhere around your hip. I don't know a lot about the psoas muscle, but I think it's around like your lower, like your groin area, I think.
Yeah, well, it's kind of counterintuitive, but the muscle in the front of your leg goes through your hip and then attaches to the back of your
It's
spine, and
so
you
funny you say that. Last about a month ago, I was working out and I was done working out and I went home as usual. But in the middle of the night, the center of my back started to hurt and
mm,
it didn't go away for weeks. And I never really had back pain, but I experience what a lot of people experience that you can't sleep at night because
yeah,
there's no position you can hold yourself that doesn't
yeah,
hurt, right?
yeah,
So finally, I went to where everybody should go and they have a connective tissue issue, a connective tissue problem, or a skeletal problem, and that's Rolfing. So I went to my Rolfer, and you know what he did? He worked on my hip. He
huh,
worked on my hip for my back,
yeah,
and he opened up my hip, and
right.
it took care of my back.
Right.
In a million years, Jonty, I never would have made the connection between the
Yeah.
hip, like you're saying, and the back. But it's all, the connection between all the joints and the bones and the tendons and the ligaments and everything. It's so complex that if you have a sprain in your little toe, that could
Hmm.
cause a problem in your neck just because how everything is connected.
Yeah. I mean, you've done such a great job of describing that in the past. The lymph,
Yeah,
the connective tissue,
all
it's
that.
just
Yes.
so underestimated in terms of
Yes,
how
and that's
important
the
it is.
problem with our medical model
Yeah.
is we focus reductionistically on every single organ. You go to have a heart
Hmm.
problem, you go to the cardiologist. You have a skin problem, the dermatologist. You have a brain problem, the neurologist. You have an eye problem, the ophthalmologist.
Right.
There are all these different specialists, but because everything is linked to the blood and to the lymph and to the great systems of the body, the connective tissue system, the immune system of the body, it's all linked. So you can't go to a cardiologist without working. You can't focus on the heart with
Hmm.
cardiological strategies when you have a gut problem or a
Yeah.
calcium problem, you have a blood sugar problem, or you have
Right.
a renal issue. Because all of these things, all these systems are interactive and
Yeah.
they're all connected and they're integrated. And that's the modern way of doing. I think that's going to be the 21st century way of doing health is
Yeah.
integrative. And that's
Right.
why I love nutrition so much because
Hmm.
nutrition doesn't target the heart. The nutrition doesn't target the brain, targets the entire system. And when you work on
Yeah.
intestinal health, everything benefits. When you clean the blood, everything benefits. You work on the lymph, everything benefits. And
Right.
that's what modern medicine really has to start to incorporate and move
Yeah.
away from this reductionistic model, which clearly doesn't work, and that we've been mired in since the modern medical model began in the 16th century.
If you brought a car into the mechanic and you said the engine's rattling, and the mechanic goes and says, okay, well, I'm going to try and stop it from rattling without thinking like maybe it needs an oil change.
Right.
It's just it's so nonsensical.
Right. Because
Uh,
everything's connected to everything else.
yeah.